All right, guys, so we are looking at 2024. No, we're not. We're looking at 2025.
2025.
We're looking back at 2024. It's still 2024. That's why I said that. Anyways, the schedule just came out, and I kind of want to do a forward thinking moment for the schedule going into 2025. What my thoughts are. We're going to go through the schedule. We'll talk about each stage. I'm trying to think, is there anything on the schedule, any places that I have not been? I've never been to the heavy hitters location, which is Smith Mountain. And that might be the only one. I think I might have been to every other fishery at least once before. But nevertheless, man, we're going to go through it while I do some fishing. I'm still out here. I've been tossing this bad boy around. I'm out here on a little river. That little guy right there has been putting in some work, man. I like throwing him out here. That little gnat by Bill Lewis. We just came out with this bait, and it's a phenomenal little multi-species bait, man. I catch crappie on this, bluegill, obviously bass, and stripers here in this river on it. It's a fun little bait. But anyways, yeah, we're going to break it all down and go through it bit by bit. I don't know, see what you guys like. I'll give you my thoughts, and yeah, we take it from there. So I've been to Conroe one time, and I was here at the BPT our rookie year. So that's 2019 we were there. Edwin Evers won that tournament in some little backwater. But man, you know, this is before the forward-facing sonar craze. So now that changes everything, but you guys all know this year we can only use forward-facing sonar for one period. So that's going to be a huge curveball. There's going to be a lot more traditional fishing going on. I'm excited about that, man, because I love the flip, I love the square bill, I love to throw a spinnerbait, and honestly, I just haven't been able to do that many places and be competitive just because you just can't keep up, man. You know, you almost got to be somewhat utilizing forward-facing sonar to compete with everybody. So that's what I've had to do. So I'm hoping this gets us back to a lot more of a traditional state of fishing. It may not. I'm also curious to see how many tournaments get won in one period from somebody that just smashed them on forward-facing sonar and they just kind of ride it out. So we're gonna see. It's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff going on. But Lake Conroe, man, that was a very tough tournament last time we were there. It was cold. It was the same time of year, and it just wasn't a lot of fish catching going on. Very few guys caught them in that tournament. There was a few really big ones caught. I remember Andy Montgomery caught a 9-pounder and boat flipped it in or grabbed it literally with like 1 second, 0 seconds to go on a chatterbait. And man, for me, I had a tough tournament last time we were there, but a lot's changed since then, man. So I'm curious to see what stage these fish are going to be in. Obviously, they should be in their wintertime patterns, but they should also be starting to head up into the shallows, get into some pre-spawn areas as well. This tournament is going to be heavily driven by weather. In February in Texas, it's liable to be 75. It's liable to be 5. I mean, that's just real talk. I mean, it's liable to be crazy cold. So that's another huge curveball that we don't know. So that's going to be a big determining factor is the weather. But I foresee guys catching them offshore, some pelagic fish, utilizing forward-facing sonar. Brush piles are going to be a big deal for sure. And then whoever can figure out a solid shallow water game plan, whether that's chatterbaiting, square billing, flipping, I don't know, but a shallow water technique where a guy can catch 5 or 6 per period flipping is gonna probably be, not even probably, that's gonna be a huge deal in that tournament. So I love a challenge, man. I'm gonna get over there and pre-practice Conroe. That's one of the places I'm definitely gonna head over there and check out and see what all I can figure out. I don't know if they got grass in that lake this year or not. It's one of those places where grass is good one year, a couple years later they kill it, you know, that sort of a deal. But I'm definitely interested and curious to see how it's gonna go down. Excited about it. I love a challenge, and I think Conroe is gonna be definitely a challenge. There's no doubt. Conroe 10-pounder, there's definitely a likelihood. There's a chance.
8-pounder?
8-pounder for sure. Somebody will catch an 8. Yeah, somebody will catch an 8-pounder there. Conroe has some giant bass in it. Man, when I was there before, it just didn't seem like Conroe had a lot of fish, period. Small ones, medium ones. You would fish for forever and not get a bite, bro. It was the weirdest of things, man. But like I said, man, I love a challenge, man. That place is definitely that. And we're gonna figure that out. Stage 2 Harris Chain, another one that's gonna be super interesting. You know why? Because of all these hurricanes we're having. So right now we just had Helene here in about 4 days. Florida's about to get crushed again by Milton. And them hurricanes devastate these Florida fisheries, man. Now, Harris Chain is not obviously super near the coast, but this hurricane is supposed to be so strong that I don't think it's going to matter much. I still think it's going to get blasted. We may not even be able to fish Harris Chain this year. I don't know, dude. It just all depends on this hurricane. But with that being said, again, we're in February, man. Everybody rants and raves about Florida and how good it is, and it can be. But I think Florida is much better. Early summer is when I think it really shines. So that tournament can be extremely tough. What's cool about Harris Chain is you got such diversity, right? You got like 5 different lakes you can fish, canals, all sorts of stuff going on. But the reality of it is Florida bass hate cold fronts. And February is just super susceptible to cold fronts, man. I mean, you could be catching spawners or you could be punching mats, getting 1 or 2 bites a day. You just don't know. So that's one that's going to be another tricky one. I think these first 2 are going to be 2 of the tougher tournaments of the season. And it's just going to break down to, you know, the weather, what the weather does. So once again, I love Florida fishing. A lot of braid, a lot of big line. You know, again, it suits my style for sure. But again, it's just going to be a matter of weather and if I land on them, man. And hopefully I do. Lake Murray. Old Lake Murray, man. That place has been showing out here these past few years. A lot of fish, a lot of big fish. That's going to be a good tournament. That's going to be a tournament where you're going to for sure have to catch them. That is for certain. You're going to have to catch them. That place burnt me bad. You guys remember that? I got on that really good bite on that floating worm, dude, and I could not get them to touch that thing in a tournament. It just, man, just devastated me, man. I just could not believe that. I shook off so many big ones. Probably the most big fish I've ever shaken off in practice in my life, dude. And they did not show up for me, but that's part of fishing, you know. I foresee that tournament, you know, those herring fish are very unpredictable. Obviously, that's going to play, but I think there's going to be a lot of pre-spawn fish playing too. A lot of boat dock fishing, a lot of boat dock fishing, maybe some top water. I hope we can play with some top water, even though it's going to be a little bit early. And again, even March, man. March is susceptible to some hard cold fronts too. But again, what I'm already calling the magic hour, which is the period that an angler decides to use their forward-facing sonar, that's going to be such a huge deal. Fishing cane piles, fishing brush piles, whatever you're doing, chasing pelagic fish for those 2.5 hours, you're going to really have to make that count, because the rest of your time is going to be spent either fishing down the bank or fishing at old school. We throw at waypoints. We back to doing that now. So pick your poison, you know. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting deal, man. It really is. OGville, April. I don't know what the deal is going to be there. That's going 300 bands, red crest. That's going to be a hard that's a pre-spawn spawn tournament too. I mean, they might just be all over the bank. You might be just looking at them the whole time. You know, I'm not sure. I for sure think there's going to be some caught sight fishing, but I don't think it'll be one sight fishing. I think it'll be one on pre-spawners. Somebody who finds them in the grass. Chatterbait is going to be a mega player there. A swim jig. Hey, and low key, even though it's April, old school, a rattle trap. Hammer trap, rattle trap. I know some guys are going to smoke them on that. They bite. Gunnerville is a trap lake. They absolutely love it. So I'll have all my traps lined out, and hopefully we can make something shake, man. Oh, chick. What's the dates on that? May. Nickajack. So it's May, I believe, right? May 1st through the 4th. Okay. Very interesting. There's going to be some fish, some guys like Jacob Wheeler, who knows that lake like the back of their hand. Matt Becker's really good there. There's a lot of guys in our field that know that lake really good. There's going to be a Michael Neal, of course, that's his home pond. Andy Morgan. A lot of guys know that lake. And I think that's going to play into the hands of the locals a lot. But by it being so early still, there's going to be a ton of fish shallow to be caught. There's going to be a lot of fish spawning. and there's going to be a lot of fish pre-spawn, and there's going to be some fish post-spawn offshore, schooled up. And obviously the guys that can find those places, those fish schooled up, they're going to smoke them. They're going to absolutely smoke them. And then there'll be everybody else just kind of plucking away, I think, at the bank. There'll be enough fish shallow on the bank that a guy can easily make the cut, I believe. It's going to be tough to win on that bank, though. So I think that one's ultimately going to be, well, the championship's day is going to be on Nickajack. So Lord knows what they'll be doing over there. They'll likely be out over there too. Look at this little dude. And he got off. What was he thinking? He's thinking he was hungry, I guess. Wanted him a bite. That's going to be a very unique tournament. I'm looking forward to that tournament. I've never been, anytime I go to a new fishery, I'm always excited. I've never been to Smith Mountain Lake. I've heard a little bit about it. Never been there. I don't know if they have a lot of big fish. I don't really know what the deal is. But it's a new place, man. I just love going to new places. And Heavy Hitter is such a cool tournament with the money they pay for big fish and the opportunities there. Obviously to win, no points on the line. It's just having a good time, man. Seeing what you can catch. I like it. Can't wait to get over there and see what's up. I got zero familiarity with that lake. I'm wide open on. I like going, and I don't have any preconceived notions. I'm going wide open on that lake. I don't know no areas. I don't know nothing. I can tell you that one. That's one that concerns me, because the Kentucky Lake that I'm familiar with, the old of Kentucky Lake, everybody offshore on ledges, doing that whole deal. It seems that that bite has not died, but it just is kind of dwindled over the years. They got a bad infestation of the Asian carp, and it's really made that place kind of tough. But from what I understand, the smallmouth have really taken off in that place. And so, you know, again, the guys with the local knowledge, one of our rookies coming in, he lives on that lake, Jake Lawrence. He's a hell of a fisherman. So I see him doing really well. Other guys that have a lot of knowledge on that lake, Michael Neal, baby boy. Michael Neal, Wheeler knows that pond pretty good. I mean, there's several guys in our field. Edwin Evers knows that lake. You know, they're going to have a lot of old school waypoints. Oh, Mark Rose is another one, dude, that's, you know, dominated over the years. I foresee some of that knowledge coming back and really helping if those bass get out on those ledges like they used to. I don't know that they do anymore. I don't know. Haven't been to Kentucky Lake in years. It's going to be an interesting one, but I foresee that one being kind of tough too, potentially.
So how does that...
Oh, man. Oh, there he is. Oh, he got off, dude. What in the world, man? Yeah, they were there, and I can't remember the dates. I think they were there kind of like around the spawn. Yeah, because a lot of guys were catching them shallow in bays on brush, largemouth.
Not the same times that y'all are going to be?
No, they were there a lot earlier. Those fish should really be out. You know, and I just don't know. You know, I just don't know. Old Potomac, haven't been there in a very long time, but that's a really cool fishery, similar to the James. Not the exact same, but similar. That's going to be a fun tournament. A lot of top water action there, I think. Hopefully the grass is nice and healthy over there on the Potomac. It's been putting out some really good weights, and yeah, that's going to be a good one. There's no doubt. Oh, Saggy. Oh, Saggy. Saggy's going to be interesting too, because of the whole four-face and sonar deal. You know, I'd say right off the bat that it'd probably be one on smallmouth if, in fact, we could use four-face sonar the whole time. But since we cannot, I think it plays into the largemouth guys' hand a lot more. And that place is a phenomenal largemouth fishery, man. It's full of grass, tulies, cane. You could punch there.
I mean, you smashed it last time.
I did. I caught them pretty good, man. I got really fortunate. Dude, I think I had one just then. I got really fortunate. I had a really good tournament there, catching them the way I love to fish, flipping, of course. And that's what's cool about that place is you could kind of do whatever it is you want to do. But it's going to be a numbers game, man. I don't know what the minimum is just yet. I hadn't looked, but it's probably, if it's 2 pounds, it's going to be real interesting. These suckers are so good at taking your bait. If it's 2 pounds, it's going to be a very interesting tournament. But I think they're probably, I don't know what they're going to do. I got to look that up. I gotta check the rules and see what the minimum's gonna be there. But it'll probably be a 1-8. Nevertheless, it'll be a good tournament.
Other than Smith Mountain Lake, because I'm sure that's the one you're looking most forward to just because you've never been. But
yeah.
Other than that one, which tournament are you looking
Other than that one,
the most to?
I'm probably looking forward to the most is probably Potomac River. I just like fishing rivers. I love rivers as I sit out here on the river right now. I love rivers, which that river's totally different, but the Potomac is a cool place, man. And if you can get lucky and find them fish schooled up in that grass, it can be real fun. Like really, really fun. So I'm hoping that's the case. The hardest tournament of the season might be the very first one, Conroe. Maybe. Conroe, just super weather dependent.
You said it's already not a big number.
I felt like that place just ain't got a lot of bass in it. I could be wrong. It just feels to me that Conroe just doesn't have the numbers in general. So I foresee that one being a really tough tournament. All right, guys, well, that wraps it up for the old schedule video. Just wanted to give you guys some insight, what my thoughts are going into 2025. It's a big season, man. They all are big seasons. I'm still looking for that big W on a BPT. I've yet to secure that trophy, man. I've been very close several times, and each year at the beginning of the year, I just always think about, is this the year, man? You know, and I'm hopeful, and I don't ever lose sight of that, and I feel like it's gonna happen very soon. So I appreciate all you guys for following along as you always do. Those that support me and those that hate on your boy, I love y'all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys come 2025. We're gonna be swinging hard, baby.